to the part 2 of the last video talking about the new communist alliance. Well, there's another element that connects in with all that, which is Islam as well. And we can see that in the Middle East with Israel and Palestine. There's the whole Islamic element on the Palestinian side, right? Now, we've seen that the political left is doing across the West. Clearly there's a connection between Islam and Marxism, and indeed there is. Historically speaking, it's called Islamo-socialism, and there's plenty of that across the world. The Soviet-Afghan war was an example of that, where you had Western powers against the East. So you have these groups being used in proxy wars. But, what's happened in the Middle East is definitely representative of that. So let's join the dots here. As I always say, it all comes back to international Marxism in the end. Like, the causes that they support give them away as to what they are. And while that's why I'm against people bringing up the Zio thing and talking about the Jews as being the problem, etc. They're not seeing the threats coming over the horizon. They're too easily distracted, because blame is being deflected away onto other groups, and people aren't seeing this threat. I mean, even when I bring it up to people, they don't understand that historically speaking, Russia, the Soviet Union, and Red China were the two main infection points for Marxism in the 20th century. I mean, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have had 20 years of war across Asia. You wouldn't have had the Korean War. You wouldn't have had the whole world. You wouldn't have Africa and South America being contaminated with all that Marxist terrorism and activism in the 20th century. So those two have it in their DNA. You've also got North Korea involved, who only exists again because of the ideology. They have their own, it's called Juche. It's their interpretation. It's like nationalism mixed with their interpretation of communism. So it's, you've got three big groups there involved in the BRICS allies, who are all joining forces. And it's obvious what's on the right. It should be obvious what's on the horizon, but people don't know their history and they're not able to join the dots.